I'm Luke.
And I'm Tyler.
And this is Mixed to Tape,
the podcast where we talk about audio, from recording to mastering and everything else in between.
We're here to start discussions and help answer your questions.
Let's get started. Hey Luke, how's it going?
Hello, Tyler. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Sweating my butt off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's extremely humid by us today.
Getting nice and sweaty.
Oh yeah.
I had to go out and check our van for some sort of problem. Door isn't closing or something. I was out there for maybe 2 minutes and I came in and I was sweating so hard I had to just take my shirt off and just sit there and try to not sweat.
Yeah, I had to mow the lawn and weed whack today. It was not fun.
See, that's what you get for being a homeowner. You loser.
Shame on me.
Everything else good with you?
Yes. My crazy month of June is over. Every weekend we were in a different place with the kids. The first week of June we were in Lancaster, Pennsylvania for a family reunion. And then the following week we were in Ocean City, Maryland for a week on vacation, which was very nice.
Nice.
And then after that we were in the Catskills for a weekend. Just visiting family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we don't have to pack the van up anymore and go anywhere. Or at least nothing that's on the calendar right now.
At least for now.
But I mean, we'll be doing stuff in July and August, but it's going to be low key. It'll be close to home. Yeah, no more 5-hour drives.
Beautiful.
Yeah. How about with you? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Wife just got a new job a few weeks ago, and so we're trying to navigate that. And I have a high school music program that I teach audio for at Ithaca College over the summer.
Oh, fun.
And so I have to plan for that. I've done it for a few years, but I want to try something a little different this time. So we'll see how that goes.
What do you cover during this course?
Audio?
Okay.
It's a challenge to try to figure out how to teach audio to high school kids because they're still in the high school kid mindset.
Right.
And I don't exactly know why most of them are there. I don't know what they're looking for. Every time that they've shown up, the stuff they're interested in is the keyboard that's in front of them and messing around with Logic and making loops.
Okay.
But we have a composition class that would cover that kind of stuff. So I feel like I'm treading on some other toes by teaching the Logic stuff, but at the same time, they're kids. They're in a music program over the summer.
Right.
Give them what they want. So I don't know. So I do a little bit of both. I don't know. I'll probably show them some cool sessions I've worked on and, show them microphones and stuff. And
Fun.
I was thinking about trying a feedback lesson, make their ears bleed a little bit.
Oh, man. Yeah, I did that once during a session. I think we may have talked about that. Totally killed the vibe. Never made that mistake ever again.
Don't feedback.
Don't switch it to line. Whatever you do.
Don't switch it to line. I have a midterm that I use for my sophomore class when I teach them the console. So sophomore year at Ithaca College, they have to learn the console. And I have a midterm that I really, really enjoy. The midterm is basically you have to come in after, about halfway through the semester. It's a midterm. You come in and you have 10 minutes in front of me and in front of the director of the program to make a vocal session happen. You have to make all the patches. You have to respond to the client requests. You have to get signal into Pro Tools, get it back out of Pro Tools. And of course, one of the failure scenarios is feedback. If you feedback at any point, you fail.
That's amazing. Are there any bonus points, like if you give them a nice reverb in the headphones or
No, you pass.
You pass, okay. So pass, fail. That's it, right?
It's very close to a pass-fail.
Okay.
It's pretty hard to do not well on it. It seems like like the bell curve is sort of inverted, where most students will do really well. You have like one or two that'll miss a bunch of stuff, but it's like, okay, you got signal into Pro Tools, not a Pro Tools, I'll pass. And then you get a couple kids who just completely fail outright.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time it's because they like just didn't get signal to where it's going. Haven't had anybody feedback yet. Speaking of students, our topic for today was given to us by one of our students, one of my students, I suppose. I had a question through email that goes something like this. What are some good people online that make mixing or audio content? Thinking mix with a masters type of deal, assuming you know YouTubers or something. LOL.
Luke knows all the YouTubers.
Yeah, I know all the YouTubers. No, like it actually got me thinking a lot. I had an email that I started and then deleted and then started another one and deleted it. And then I was about to start again and I was like, wait a minute, I could just do this with you.
Yes.
And now we have a topic for our podcast, which is great too. And now we're incorporating questions from the outside, which is my dream, I think.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I was curious to hear some of your ideas, and I was interested, I guess, in talking through this with somebody else. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't rely heavily on YouTube for mixing techniques. I mean, I was fortunate enough to work at a studio where we did a lot of mixing in the box and on consoles. So I feel like I learned a lot of my mixing education while I was working, you know. And now these days, I feel like I'm so busy working, I don't have a whole lot of time to just like, you know, sit and watch YouTube videos all day and learn how to do something. But if I hear something on a song and I want to learn how to do it, you know, I'll sit there and I'll try and recreate it with the mix that I'm working on, or maybe I'll Google it and see, you know, how do you do that? Like trying to get like a nice bright shimmery top end on a vocal that's not harsh, you know, but that really sticks out. There's one person that I kind of from time to time they pop up in my feed. This guy Reed Steffen, maybe you've seen him. He's this like puppet that does mix tips and tricks kind of thing. Have you heard of this guy or seen him?
But he's a puppet?
He is a puppet.
That's amazing.
You've never?
I have to look this up.
It's really actually amazing. He gives really solid advice, and he does like shorts, and he kind of gets right to the point. He does some more long form stuff, but every once in a while I'll see him on my like Instagram feed, and I'll be like, "Oh, this is really cool." It's like 30 seconds of how to like do a pop vocal, or like how to mix 808 kick drum into a song or something like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, he has the puppet talking into the microphone.
Yeah, it's him. The puppet's doing the how-to video. It's pretty amazing.
That's amazing. Why is there a puppet? I'm asking the wrong questions. That's amazing.
I don't. Why are
but
there?
the
not,
information's good.
Yeah, the information's great. Yes.
He just because Reed loves puppets. That's why.
Yeah. And then I've never. I mean, there's also like mixed with the masters, like your student mentioned, which I've only just every once in a while, if I see a mixer that I really like, I'll watch their kind of like intro video. But I've never like watched, you know, subscribed to any of those videos.
Yeah, those things are expensive.
They are expensive. Yeah, a few $100,
Yeah.
I think. I think you can do like a yearly subscription and get all of them, maybe for like, we should look it up, but maybe like $300 or $400. But yeah,
I've only seen the advertisements for Mix with the Masters. Seems like a good idea, but I don't know.
yeah. You could also attend those too,
Yeah,
which would be pretty cool. But I mean, like I said, you know, we kind of had the real deal, you know, doing that job every single day, you know. So for me to pay that much to see these people work, I'm like,
yeah,
is it worth it? For me, no.
yeah. We sort of cheated because we got an avatar and we just got to watch it in real time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Ask questions and
I don't know. That was one hell of a cheat code that I put in.
yeah.
Work for no money. Du-du-du-du-du.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of what I do. What about you? Do you use any like video references, like YouTubers or anything like that, or?
So I have, because I'm at Ithaca College, I have access to a program called LinkedIn Learning, which is a really great resource. If you are a student at a place that has access to LinkedIn Learning, it's actually really fantastic. Basically, it's a bunch of online courses that focus on like photo, video. I learned how to like use a video camera through a LinkedIn Learning course. I learned how to edit in Premiere Pro.
Oh, cool.
Has like a 6 hour course that you can take. It gives you downloadable content so you can do it right alongside the whoever. Um, so that was really great, but that was video. I checked their audio content, and they got like that Bob Ozinski guy does a series of audio stuff, but it's just like little gimmicks, little tips, and like one or two of them I think are sort of neat. One or two of them I'll sort of pick up on,
Yeah.
and I've used the New York parallel compression drum thing. Whatever. You send the bass and the drums to the
Hmm.
parallel compressor. It's the New York City method or whatever. Uh, but most of my mixing, most of my mixing is like watching other like mixing engineers mix, mostly through like, lessons that I saw at school or stuff I saw at Avatar. Stuff that I've read in books has been really great. The other big thing is kind of like lame and generic, but just practicing,
Yeah, for sure.
right? I have viewed mixing for a very long time. I mean, I've viewed like working in audio for most of my time working in audio as very similar to the experience of the musician in terms of like you must practice.
Yeah. Know your instrument, know your gear.
Yeah, read the manuals, but even more than that, just like keep doing it over and over again. Keep trying new things. Keep recording stuff and keep mixing stuff and like try to do that all the time, at least like 2 or 3 times a week for multiple hours, whatever. I have two resources online that I have reached for that I've reached towards in the past. Telefunken, the microphone manufacturer, has a whole series of songs that they have tracked with their Telefunken microphones using some big artists, mostly like sort of like middle of the road
Yeah.
kind of artists. They're very, very good, but you may not have heard of them.
I
So
saw Bernard Purdy on their website. That's pretty cool.
Bernard Purdy was there, and so you can. So the point is, they give you the multi-tracks for these
Yep.
things after they record them. It showcases the Telefunken mics, and they can talk about how great they are. You get great artists, and you end up with a sound that's pretty solid. Sometimes there's some microphone bleed, and so you have to think about that. There's lots of different genres, so if you're not comfortable mixing reggae music,
Yeah.
you'll find some reggae stuff on there, and you can give it a try. Some like there was some world music type stuff in there, some like African drum type stuff. So there's like gigabytes and gigabytes of audio in there, and you can just download
This
it.
is strictly just for your own personal enjoyment and learning. They don't
Yeah,
have like it's not like a tutorial, or they're not showing you, they're not giving you a completed mix and saying here match this, or this is how you get to this stage from, raw multi-track to a finished mix, right? It's just the straight
nope.
multi-track.
Yep, it's just the raw audio. But now it's like it's all tracked. You can bring it into Pro Tools, and then you can just mess with it.
Does it come with any like
Right.
mix at all? Just like A B kind of a
Nope.
thing?
You can. I think you can find a mix sometimes. There's often video content where they'll have a
Yeah.
mix, right? Personally, I don't like listening to it. A lot of the songs are uh, performers performing their own songs again, so you can find the official album mix somewhere in the wild.
Yep.
Uh, so, you can dip into that and see if that's something that you like. But I don't know. It's like just bringing that stuff into Pro Tools and just trying stuff and just doing it over and over again. Remembering, for me, I really like the transient designer on a lot of my drums, and then I do like this plugin and that plugin,
Yep.
and like getting into that rhythm makes me a lot faster at mixing those kinds of things.
Yes.
There's no pressure to mix quickly because you're not on the clock because it's mostly for fun, and so you can try new things.
Yes.
So it trains your ears, which is really good. So I just love just mixing. If I need to like kick back sometimes, I'll just find a cool song and I'll just mix it. I'll also give a brief shout out to Cambridge, which is another online resource. It often links to the Telefunken stuff, but there's a lot of other multi-track material on there. They have a much wider genre set,
Okay.
which is pretty neat. They got a lot of like they got heavy metal, they got electronic stuff, they got some like really modern ambient isn't the right word, but just that kind of like ethereal kind of pop stuff. There's some really, really good content in there. So between those two things, mix them and then find some friends and say, what do you
What do
think
you
of my
think?
mix
Yeah.
and get some feedback.
You can, if you have, fellow students, you could even just, you all can take it home and mix it and compare, see what you all came
Hmm.
up with. That would be fun to do that. Now, does Cambridge, do they just link you to other places to get multi-tracks, or do they actually do the recording and put out their own multi-tracks? I didn't catch that.
Cambridge is a little weird and it's sometimes it will link you to other places. It seems like it's the ultimate resource of all multi-tracks.
Gotcha.
So it will link you to the Telefunken stuff, so it'll kick you over to Telefunken, then you go there.
Yep.
Um, it also hosts some of its own audio, and then there are also times where it's like, here's a free download for a thing, and then it kicks you over to like a magazine website, and the magazine wants you to subscribe first before it'll let you download. So
Right.
it's a minefield, but it's not dangerous, I suppose.
Cool. Yeah.
Don't know where you're gonna get practice. I guess I harp on that a lot, but I think one of the best things I've done for myself for mixing is just constantly practicing and like listening to music and just trying stuff when I'm mixing.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I'll catch something in a song and I'll be like, oh man, I can't wait to go home and like just try that out. Like, oh, I never thought of doing something like that.
I think definitely no. I was gonna say like watch YouTube for what a lot of these like different gizmos do. Um, but honestly, I think one of my best educations again goes back to Avatar. I sat down with all the gear that we had and I plugged it in. Like I would plug in like one or two pieces of gear a day and I would just listen to it and see what it was
Yeah.
doing. And that really helps you get into your ears like choruses, flangers, phasers, things like that, distortion.
The old digital delays.
Yeah, digital delays, compression, on and on and on. Get some multi tracks, plug in a bunch of different stuff, and hear what these different things are. Have a library in your head
Yeah.
of what these different sounds are. And then when you're listening to music, then you'll be able to hear what those sounds are, right? Sort of lame advice, I guess.
I
But
think that's great advice. I don't think it's lame.
I'm just thinking like there's no like really fast way, I think. There's no place online that I can think where like, yes, you should watch all these videos and then you will be good at
Yeah,
mixing.
there's like no golden ticket. You have to put the time in for
Yeah.
sure. And even I'm still like to this day like mixing. I'm just like, is this good enough? Like what am I even listening to anymore? Just like getting too far inside my head.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes I'll have to just get away from it. Like it'll be something I deliver and be like, all right, it is what it is. The client's happy. I don't know myself about it, but like I'll listen back to it a few months later. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that was actually pretty good. Like,
Yeah. Or you have the, a couple months later and you go, oh, man, that sounds like shit. Oh well.
yeah, right.
Client's still happy.
Yeah, right. But like you were saying before,
Yeah.
practicing with the multi tracks and having all the time in the world to explore and practice and make mistakes and find new ways of doing different things. But I also think, if you get these multi tracks to say, okay, my client wants three mixes delivered. It's a Wednesday. They want three mixes delivered by Friday. Try and work within that time constraint and see if you can pull that off and do three mixes within 3 days.
Sure.
Just to push yourself and work within that limitation, because that's the real world. How many times do I get a call? It's like, here's this whatever it is, I need you to turn this around in like a day. It happens all the
Yep.
time.
I love simulating real things.
Clearly.
Um,
Oh man.
no, yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
Or like only use Pro Tools stock plugins.
Yeah.
See what you can do with that. That's always a fun one. Try mixing things. The Telefunken stuff can be fun because a lot of it was recorded live, and so that can actually really limit your mix and your like panning soundscape kind of
And
thing.
how much compression you can get away with. I think, and also another thing, a limitation would be is to not use compression and just use volume moves, faders, or write the automation in.
That's fun.
Yeah. I forget who it was. I think it was Joe Furla mixing, maybe Christian McBride in Studio C. It was right when I started as like a PA there, but I think he was doing like very little compression and doing all his moves on faders, which is very impressive. Which
Yeah.
is not a time saver. It takes lots and lots of time.
Yeah. But it sounds good when you're
It
done,
sounds great, yeah, for sure.
if you can do it right.
Yeah, but yeah, try and mimic what you have the compressor doing without the compressor.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Alex Case handbook,
Yes.
the textbook, Sound FX. The sound you just made. I don't know a single person, a single professional who, first of all, hasn't read that book, and secondly, doesn't love that book. I don't know about you, but sound effects, it basically taught me about compression. And I think that's what a lot of people say about that book, is it really gave them a new perspective on compression.
Yeah.
So that's a solid book. There's another, oh, I have it right here. It's a book I use for class. It's by Roy Izaki, Roey. I'm gonna pull it up here. Izhaki. Roy Izaki. Mixing audio. It's probably one of the best resources I've found that just like very simply introduces the different concepts of mixing audio, like gives you ideas about different directions you can go, different styles you can try to like, or philosophies, I should say. Mixing like volume and pans first, mixing, and then and then doing EQ, and then doing compression, and then doing reverb, something like that, or like try it a different way. And then he goes into all the different tools that you can use and sort of dives into like EQ and different things you can EQ and different ways you can EQ different things to try to bring out certain things. And so there's some really good information in there that is both broad and also like a little bit nitpicky. I'm trying to remember if there are audio examples in there as well. That's a solid textbook. School textbooks are great and don't have to only be used for school.
No, I still have mine. They are collecting some dust, but I have used them in the past.
Yeah, I have the great fortune of having to use my school textbooks because now I am a school teacher.
Yes. I feel like if I was in that position, I would as well.
However, there are a number of times where it's like, even I guess I'm sort of cheating because I'm prepping for a class or something, but like I'll just start reading the book and be like, oh, I'm learning something new. Or like, I have to teach a lesson in power or electricity or something like that, and I'm still pretty fuzzy on some of those
Yeah,
concepts. And
because you're not an electrical engineer.
I'm not, but I have to pretend to be. So there's a lot of times it's like, let's see if it's in the textbook. Oh, look, there it is. There's a whole lesson here.
Yeah,
Or yeah, they're fantastic.
great.
I don't know what are some great ways to learn about mixing. We talked um, about practicing mixing with multi-tracks. We have a few videos that we can reach for with Read Stefan or Mix with the Masters or LinkedIn Learning.
Yeah.
I guess there's some good magazines out there too that I don't know. Sometimes those, yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yes, I mean they're not going to sit there and. I mean, the one I read all the time is Tape Op. I still get that delivered to my house every month, which is amazing. They have really great interviews with all of the mixers that you probably know or don't even know you know, but they won't give you exact word for word like mix tips of how to get this vocal sound. It'll be more of the interviewer saying, "Hey, I really like what you did on this record. Can you tell me more about it?" And they'll open up a little bit about it and tell you about the process. Like the most current issue is with Russell Elevato, who's well known for doing D'Angelo's records.
Hmm.
He does a lot of work at Electric Lady, and the interviews is just great. He doesn't use. I don't think he uses any plugins. He does use Pro Tools if he has to, but he's pretty much always on tape. So you kind of just get like the general overall feel for how these people work day to day, and so yeah, I would definitely read magazines because you can get a lot of just background information about people and what drives them to do what they do or why they do what they do.
Can I confess something to you?
Yes.
I think I'm the only engineer that I know of that doesn't have a subscription to Tape Op magazine.
Really? It's
Yes,
free.
I know. And I'm signing up for it right now. I'm doing it.
I'm giving you a high five, Luke.
Oh, man, look at all these questions.
Oh, yeah, dude, it's like 10 minutes of questions. It's a lot of questions.
Oh my gosh. Can I do this on a podcast right now? How many years have you been involved in recording music? Many? Apparently, I remember reading that the Australian Aborigines don't have a word past three. They just count one, two, three, and then many.
So they're just waltzing around all day, huh?
Just, just saying. They see a whole bunch of kangaroos and they say that is many kangaroos.
Right.
I could be
More
wrong.
than three.
Do you make a living playing or recording music? Sometimes. What, Tyler? What's my preferred recording format? Probably digital.
Straight to 2-track, man.
Straight to 2-track. Wow, there's a lot of questions here.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's worth it, though.
It's worth it. I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna let this slow me down. What other recording magazines do you read? Are you ready for this? None. Tape Op rocks my world. How long do you keep your copy of Tape Op? Well, I've never had one before. That's an option. Don't know yet. This will be my first issue. I'm done. Get me subscribed. All right, Tyler.
Was that it? I thought there was going to be more pages.
I'm now officially a recording engineer for real.
Awesome.
I've been pretending this whole time. All right, kids. It was that easy and not that tedious.
Right.
I don't know. I think the last piece of advice that I would have is keep in contact with your friends.
Yes.
Do that networking bullshit that everybody tells you to do that no one knows how to do because we're all audio engineers and most of us don't know how to like be
Socialize.
normal. But still try. But seriously, talk shop with your friends, see what your friends are doing, show them your mixes and see what suggestions they have. Look for constructive criticism, constructive
Yes.
feedback.
Or you can do what you do. You just cold call these people, and these well-known mixers, and they get back to you like within like minutes it seems.
Yeah, sometimes.
But seriously though,
But seriously, there's what I've been saying this, my whole professional career. What's the worst they're gonna do? Say no? Ignore
or not
you?
respond. Yeah, right.
I had a student who wanted a job with somebody down in New York City, and they had to reach out they had to write an email, and they were so stressed. Oh my God, what? I'm so nervous about sending this email, And I said, just send it. What are you nervous about? What do you think they're gonna do? What's the worst that could possibly happen? They looked at me and were like, I don't know. They don't write back. I was like, yeah.
Then you email the next person.
Yeah.
Was it a person, or was it a studio, or like an establishment, or?
I'm trying to remember the full story. I think it was just a person. I
Yeah.
think they were just like trying to look for a job or something. It was like,
I mean, I get it. It could be a little intimidating, but it's you're not calling them up, or you're not like knocking on their front door.
yeah,
So, email's a great way to do that.
yeah. I reached out to Elliot Shiner when I first got to New York City.
Awesome.
I was just like some punk. I have like no credentials. I'm just graduated from college, and he was like, I wrote him. I introduced myself and whatever, and he writes me back. He's like, okay, so what are you looking for here? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to look for work or something. And I didn't hear back. And it was like, okay, that's the worst that can happen.
That's it. Yeah. Right.
And I met him later when I was at Avatar, and he was super cool. So
He's a great
whatever.
person, and talk about like someone who can mix a record in like no time on a neat console with flying faders. It's amazing.
Yeah, dude's a man.
Yeah, he's the best. I worked with him a bunch of times, but he means business, and you don't mess up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mess up. He'll let you know. He will let you know.
So, any final parting thoughts?
I guess we talked about pretty much all the ways to get mixing advice besides, you know, on the internet watching YouTube videos, which is great.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm happy we explored all the other options,
I didn't. I guess this is kind of why I wanted to talk about it here. It was because the foundation of my answer was most video content, most stuff I find on YouTube is actually not. It's not that great. A lot of it is like little trick things or whatever.
It's gimmicky or it's just wrong.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It's, some dude, some kid who's like figured out how to make something. He's like, oh, here's how you do like parallel compression with drums. And it's like terrible advice.
Yeah.
So finding like good verifiable resources is tricky with something like YouTube because there's just so much content there.
YouTube and Reddit also. Not the best places.
Yeah. Forums are that's like the detritus of audio feedback. It's the Gearspace forums. Whenever I like search for how to do something, back then it was called Gear Sluts, right? Whenever that showed up in a Google search, I would just skip right over it because it was just a whole bunch of people just like arguing over just nonsense. Yeah. Forums are the worst for audio. Hard agree. So let's stop there. If any of our listeners, if any of you have some great YouTubers that you'd like us to check out and change our minds, please send them our way. We will definitely check them out.
I double dog dare you.
And also, seriously, if you have other questions that you would like answered, please send them our way. We would love to discuss them and help.
Help.
All right. Until next time.
See you, Luke.
See you, Tyler. Thanks for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe. We put out new episodes every other Thursday. If you liked what you heard, take a second to give us a review. Every review helps new listeners find us. If you'd like to support us, you can find us on Patreon. We have some perks for our new subscribers and plans for more as we continue and grow. If you'd like to join the conversation, find us on Facebook or Instagram by searching Mixed to Tape Podcast. If you'd like to contact us, write us at mixedtotapepodcast@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear your questions. Thanks, and we hope to see you next time.